Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mike and this is Build and Tinker, and today is a great day because it's a new car day and we're building this. This box has arrived from Fanhome and it's the first package for the Fast and the Furious Toyota Supra, which was Brian's car in the first movie. It's, I think, the third Fast and Furious car that Fanhome have launched. They did the Dodge Charger and then the Skyline. I've built the Skyline, I haven't done the Charger, and this I'm really looking forward to. Literally only launched a week or so ago, so really excited to open this up and see how it looks. So let's get going. So with the box open, this is what we get. We have the first two sets of parts. Set one is the front bumper and headlights, and set two is a wheel, very similar to how we started with the Skyline. We have a welcome letter with some information on it. Obviously the first two magazines, and this additional magazine, which just explains a little bit about the model, how it looks when it's finished, the different features and functions. So it's got working lights, some sounds, there is a basic remote control, standard sort of Fanhome electronics. They're going to be okay, but not great. We'll probably not use them. And they're free gifts that come with the set. So that includes some posters, a mug, standard stuff really, license plate, sweatshirt, and the 1/43 scale model. And we get those throughout the build at different stages. And there's also a big fold-out poster that shows you everything that it does. It's got a big model like all the others. It's 56 centimeters long, so you need a lot of space to store them. And I have opted for the premium offer, which has the illuminated base. I've got a few of those coming with different models, but I've not received one yet, so I don't know what they're like. We shall see. So let's have a look at the first part, and the first magazine starts off with a bit of an introduction to the Toyota Supra and the generations that came before this one, which is the 4th gen, and that's all interesting stuff, but we're going to skip straight to the instructions and start building something. So we'll put the wheel to one side for now, and we're going to open up this box with the bumper and everything in it. Now, as is often with the case with these builds, they give you something nice and big up front, but it tends to be something you don't actually fit to the car till quite a lot later on in the build. So we're going to keep this packaging, don't throw it away, because once we've assembled the bumper, we're going to see if we can get some of it back in. It might be tricky with the headlights and what have you, but we'll see. If not, we might be able to put the bits in the lid of this packaging. So, what does issue 1 want from us to start with? So step 1 is we're going to be fitting the this metal grille here into the main bumper body, and it asks us to start by removing the protective layer from the 4 adhesive strips that are on this grille. So if we lift this grille out gently, you'll see there are some tabs. In fact, the adhesive's not on there yet. They give us a packet of a little strip of adhesives, and it's sort of pre-cut into these rectangles. There are 4 rectangles here, and they've given us 5, so we've got a handy spare. And we need to essentially stick one onto each of these pads. So let's get those strips stuck on. So we can simply peel one piece off at a time. You might find that a pair of tweezers would be handy. It depends how good you are with your fingernails. I'm just going to put one of these pads onto each of these metal plates. It's not very straight, is it? I might grab some tweezers and then do the rest. Okay, with some tweezers it goes on a little easier. So that's all 4 pads stuck onto the different plates. I replaced the first one I did because I made a bit of a mess of it. So the next stage is to actually attach this to the bumper. Now this bumper is actually made of die-cast metal, so it's nice and heavy and it has a really great feel to it. And yeah, just look at that. Looks amazing. So we're going to start by taking a small piece of foam and we're going to pop that down here because we're putting this paint side down and I don't want to scratch it. And then this grill goes over the aperture in the middle. And there are some screws. It's sticky pads and screws. I don't really know why we've got both. I think it's to stop it bowing. But we need some SM screws. They do give us a screwdriver in this first issue. It's standard sort of screwdriver we get with most of these builds. I've got a lot of these kicking around now. I don't use them. I use the Vera screwdrivers here that I just find a lot better. And I picked these up from Mike Lane Mods. And those 2 SM screws now hold that in place. If you're new to partwork models, there's a bit of a code with the screws. If the code ends with the letter M, then you're screwing into metal. If it ends with the letter P, you're screwing into plastic. So these are SM, we're screwing into metal because the screw goes into the metal part of the body. And obviously with plastic ones, you don't want to over tighten them because you can strip the plastic part. With metal ones, some people like to put a little bit of 3M oil on the screw before threading it in because sometimes there's a bit of paint in the threads and what have you. I've never bothered with that, but it's not a bad idea if you want to do it. So having put those 2 screws in, we're just going to fold down these tabs here that have the sticky bits on and press them up against the body of the bumper, and that's just going to hold that in nice and tight so there's no flex in the grill. So just looking back at the parts list here, because the next step wants us to construct some lights. There are 3 sets of lights, of round lights, and each one has a lens, and they're all slightly different sizes. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we know what we're dealing with in terms of size. So I'm just going to get them all out and line them up in size order. And then we've got lenses to match. So we are starting with the Fs. So the largest lenses. Obviously being careful not to scratch them. So these are the larger lenses for the F. And basically all we're doing is we're taking the light back, the reflector, and we're going to push the lens onto the front. And it doesn't click or anything, but it doesn't feel like it's going to fall out. So there we go. Those are the 2 larger ones. And then we do the same for G and H. We are now going to insert those into the housings or the reflector housings for the headlights. So we have 2 of these, and they're obviously handed left and right. And each of these headlight housings has 3 holes in it. And as you can see, that the recesses for those holes are in decreasing sizes. So it's kind of obvious what we're doing here. We're going to push these lights into the appropriate hole. So we take the lights that we've just put the lenses into, and starting with the largest, we push it into, with a nice satisfying click, into the reflector of the main headlamp, and we just go down in size. And as suspected, the lens popped off this middle one. They do seem a little loose on the middle size lamp, so we'll deal with that one separately, I think. So there's the 3 lenses installed into the light, and we're going to just repeat that for the other side. So here we have each of those lamps installed in the headlamp reflectors for both sides, and we're not going to be fitting the front glass yet. So we've completed the grille, on the front bumper, and partially assembled the headlamps. The bumper's probably not going to need to come out again for a little while, so let's pop that back in its packaging. And we can do the same with the headlamps. They fit back where they came from. And that's issue 1 completed. I would say if you're doing a part work, go and get yourself some big plastic tubs with lids. Ideally stackable ones if you're doing more than one part work, because you're going to want to put these somewhere out of the way. I buy large stackable tubs from home stores. I think it's called B&H or B&M. Might be B&M home stores. They're about £12 for 3, so they're quite cheap and they stack nicely, and you can pretty much get a model in each one. Up to the very end of the build, when you start putting the bumpers on, they tend to be a bit long to fit, but it's really great for keeping your models protected whilst you're building them. So let's have a look at issue 2. Another good piece of advice is to get yourself a screw pot with individual compartments for different size screws. You can get them on Amazon and places like that. You will get spare screws with every single issue, and they are worth keeping because every now and again you'll need some spares. So keep them separate so that you know which sizes are which, and yeah, buy a little screw compartment pot. They're very cheap and worth having. So with that in mind, this spare SM screw goes back in the back. So issue 2, we get to build a wheel, and we have everything here in order to do that. We've got a tyre, outer chrome rim, an inner rim, looks like part of a hub maybe, and the spokes, a packet of screws, and then a chrome cap. Looks like a centre cap. Again, I'm going to be keeping this because the wheel is not going to go on for a while. We've got nothing to attach it to, so it will go back in here when it's assembled. Now, I found on the Skyline, the Fast and Furious Skyline, the wheels were really nicely made and actually very easy to assemble compared to some of the wheels from other part works I've done. The first step here, they tell you to warm up the tyre by placing it in warm water, and that can really help. It does really soften the rubber. Though I found that with the Skyline, with the wheels constructed similar to this, it wasn't necessary, but it depends how strong your grip strength is. So I'm going to skip that part, and I'm not going to warm the tyre up. It's also a warm day today. When I did these in the winter on another car, it was a nightmare because they were so cold out of the box. But it's summer, so almost. So we're going to put the inner here, the inner part of the rim, through the wheel. Very simple. And then we're going to take this chromed part, and that goes through the other side of the tyre like so. But I'm going to swap it round because I want to match the tread pattern. So the picture will show you in the book, it shows you which way the tread pattern should be facing. In this case, we're facing that way. So it's clearly a tyre with directional tread. And we're going to slot this in, taking our time to ensure that the screw holes here on these little tabs line up with the screw holes here. It's much easier to get it close, if not perfect, before you push it down than try and rotate it into place. And it seems like I've got that pretty much bang on. And that's pushed in quite easy, and they almost meet. So you sometimes have to give it a bit of a squeeze to get them to meet, but there's a millimetre, if that, between them, and the rubber's quite soft, so I'm quite happy with that. So now we have to put this piece here over the top, coming in through the chromed side. And that's going to go, and again, there's a screw hole that lines up with each of these spokes. So we need the spokes to line up with the holes in the wheel, because we're going to be screwing that through from behind. So you can just check visually that lines up, and it does. So we'll get our screws ready. So these are ABM screws, so again we're going into metal. These spokes are all metal. This inner rim is also metal. The only plastic part is the chrome piece, and obviously the tyre's rubber. but they're very good, solid, quite heavy wheels once they're done. And these ABM screws are quite long, so they're going to go through, and they'll probably just pull the parts together as we start tightening up the thread. Yeah, that went in pretty easy. So we'll just do the rest. So with all those screws in, the wheel's now assembled, and it looks really cool. I love the look of these wheels, and I really loved the look of the ones on the Skyline as well. It even has a little valve stem on it, which is quite a nice touch. These extra pieces here, which is part of the hub and the centre cap, they don't get fitted yet. My guess is that they go on after we've attached this to the car. Again, that could be a little while. So really be cautious about not losing these parts. This is why tubs are really important. We'll take the spare screw that we didn't use, and that, and the wheel, going to go back in this box, and we'll put the little pieces underneath. Hopefully the wheel will hold them in. So that's issues 1 and 2 complete, which forms pack 1 of the Supra build from Fanhome DeAgostini. It's available to order in the UK and France, and I believe Germany. It may also be out in some other territories. I don't think it's hit the US yet. A couple of models have been launched in the UK that haven't quite made the US yet. Wouldn't be surprised if they're waiting to see a resolution to this tariffs issue, because otherwise the models are going to cost you double, and no one wants that. So hopefully that will get resolved and you'll be able to get it over in the US soon. Let me know if you're planning on building it, and if you are, you're going to do any mods to it. I certainly will be. I won't be using the stock electronics. I rarely do. There's always a product available from Mike Lane Mods that completely improves the car from an electronic standpoint, as well as other things. So looking forward to see what gets done with that and what we do in terms of modifying it. So if you enjoyed the video, please remember to click like, click subscribe. I really could do with a few more subscribers, because 90% nearly of my viewers are not subscribed. So it'd be great to get those numbers up and help promote the channel. But have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Take care.